Hey all, my name is Kurt and I'm here with Trenton. Welcome to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. And today is the day that we go through our recap of our 2023 Bourbon Madness tournament. So Trenton, you know, I'm okay with making myself look silly here for the next 20 minutes or so. How about you?
When we did it on the live show and we did a little bit of a recap, I wasn't too surprised, except for maybe one round.
I had a couple. And y'all don't see it, but my wife is on my right hand. My brother Kent is on my left hand behind the camera, and they are set. They are set to grill us. Basically,
I can't wait.
Especially Kent.
Maybe you a little bit more than me.
Yeah,
but
I don't have notes.
He has spent hours taking notes and everything we might have said, even while we were tasting these certain.
He's got like a legal pad full of stuff. So I'm interested to see what he's got
for each round.
Yep.
It ought to be fun.
But before we start, thank you to everybody who tuned in and filled out brackets.
Yeah.
This is the first year we did a duo bracket, and we have some cool plans for next year. But this year we had 8,034 entries across both of our brackets. You had like 100 more than me. But
hey, honey, mark that down. Trent versus Kurt.
I'll give you a point.
Take what you can get, Kurt.
I'm taking a point.
I know you need points real bad. I'll give you a point.
I'm taking a point.
And the live show was the most views we've ever had on a live show. I think it about doubled. Our max was 2,694 people. Watching the live show, which was cool. It was a heck of a live show. We had tornado warnings. We almost
Lights
lost power.
Were flickering here.
We almost lost power. So it was a cool show. We appreciate everybody who tuned in and filled out brackets and everything. It was cool. Spoilers, maybe. I think we're getting Kent involved next year with his own bracket next year. So it's going to be cool. We're doing things a little bit differently, and that means we have more prizes to give away next year. So stay tuned for that.
Why not?
Start counting down the days.
Awesome.
I have the winners and everything, but we'll go over that after we kind of go through each round and everything.
Real quick, I just want to make a mention too, Trenton, of thanks once again to all of our patrons who had a huge part in the material that we were the content of our Bourbon Madness tournament, and also the fellows that did all the bottle selections and
Justin.
All the bottle selections and the seedings and all that stuff. Thanks to everybody who helped us out with that. So we appreciate it. So Kent, I guess the way I look at this, we have our same sheet that the ladies gave us during the live stream. Yeah. And I think if we just go one to the next, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So we have our first 16 bottles. Of course, we started with exactly the same, right? So the very first bracket was Old Forester 1920 and Backbone Uncut Unfiltered.
Which I like the fact that Old Forester 1920 was top seed. It won last year. That's the way it should have been.
That makes sense. That does make sense.
And all of us that were picking everything, that was the first thing that was said. Obviously, that's first seed. It won last year. Had to happen.
Yep, I'm with you.
I'll go through just a quick rundown of your guys' tasting notes, and I'll throw in the funny comments when they happen. But believe it or not, there wasn't too many for the entire bracket, but there's a few good ones.
Okay. I'm actually kind of surprised. All right.
There wasn't too many. But, round one was Backbone. Kurt went first and tried the Backbone first. Said seemed younger, spicy, astringent on the nose with oak hints. Liked it a lot, but hot on the palate. Old Forester cream brulee, he said.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Cream brulee, he said, on the nose. Not as hot on the palate, but nice hug, balanced sip of brown sugar and caramel, and pick the Old Forester. Said both are good, but Old Forester is spectacular overall.
Okay.
Of course, he said letter B, but...
Yeah, that's fine. That one didn't bother me. No, it's kind of what I would expect. I really do like the Backbone, but a little bit young.
Yeah. Well, compared to the...
Comparably speaking.
Up against that's pretty tough.
100%.
In the same thing, Trenton spilled on himself. He was the first of a couple.
I was the first to spill.
Both. You were the first.
You normally spill. I'm surprised.
Old Forester 1920, very sweet on the nose, very smooth and sweet. Backbone, dusty on the nose that he liked. Reminded him of Woodford Double Oaked, but tannic, oaky, and bitter on the palate.
I can see that.
And picked Old Forester 1920, which I think both of your guys' notes are pretty much spot on, really.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm not mad about my description about Backbone.
All right, now here comes the big one. You ready for this, Trent? This is something that I didn't expect. Did you expect?
No.
Okay, the guys figured this out and put in a couple of our own personal barrel picks, Old Elk and Nulu. Both of those.
We talked about that, and when we were all picking it, and thought we need to throw an SLB pick in there, and then we decided to put two of them in, put up against each other to where one only was carrying on.
And I'm glad you did that.
Cool.
I don't think I would have liked it as much if they were separated in the bracket somewhere.
But at least you guys picked one, and then let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
Which was my bracket buster for Kurt, by the way. I'll get to that.
Really? Okay.
But Trent went first. He did Nulu first. Nose was like a musty rag. Remember the rag issue?
Oh, yeah.
This was the round where the
Oh, no.
the musty rags came into play.
Oh, no.
But on Nulu, thinking higher malted barley or wheat on palate, and vegetal, kind of like celery.
That's what that was?
That's, yeah.
Celery was Nulu for him?
Yeah, but
Celery?
the next comment was the best of the whole show. He said, would be shocked if it was something he had ever tasted before, which I laughed hysterically at home.
You said that.
Going, he picked it.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh, wow.
That was the best comment of the whole show, for sure.
I'm glad I take that trophy home.
That was said at an opportune time, wasn't it?
And then Old Elk, he said musty also on the nose.
Well,
they seem to fix that after this round.
Yeah, I used a day old rag. That's all to wipe it out.
Yeah, I picked that up.
Old Elk seemed lower proof, 100 to 105, and very much like a dessert. And he picked Old Elk.
I can see that.
Yeah, I
which
can see
is
that for
100%
sure.
correct.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Kurt, Old Elk first. Pancakes and orange on the nose, pancakes and syrup and cinnamon. Thought it was really good. Nulu, cherry on the nose, really good also. Cherry forward and molasses. Picked Old Elk, that was my bracket buster for Kurt, because when you got the Nulu, that bottle went the fastest I've ever seen you go through a bottle. So I'm like, for sure he's picking Nulu.
You know, and the problem with that is, Ken, is that's the only bottle I had. So I haven't had that.
Oh, really?
I haven't had a pour of that in so long.
But name another bottle you went through that fast.
No, I get you.
So I'm like, for sure he's picking Nulu.
I'm with you. I understand that.
You didn't get any vegetables from your Nulu?
No, I didn't really say celery. I'm pretty sure I didn't.
I might have a bad bottle at home.
And that was also the time when Trenton said doesn't like being by himself because without Kurt to bounce things off of, he comes up with notes like toilet seats and garden hoses.
That sounds right. You come up with vegetables and...
And you guys are gonna
you think you haven't tasted something before?
My cough, you guys are going to make me laugh, man. It's not going to be good. All right, moving on. We got Booker's Donahoe batch and Bulleit barrel strength. Now, for me,
no.
I'm just going straight down the bracket.
Oh.
Can you do that or no? Or do you want to bounce around to what you have your notes?
No, I'm going round 3 was in the videos.
Okay, tell me what was in the videos. I don't know.
Round 3 in the
no
videos
idea.
was Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof and Still Lost in
Okay, well, you announce them from now on because we don't know where they were
followed
done.
suit up until this one.
Okay, we didn't know.
So
we have no idea.
Video 3.
Sure.
Okay.
Or round 3, I guess it would be video 2's first round 3.
I apologize.
Of the Sweet 16 was Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof and Still Lost in Cast Strength.
Yeah.
Which I still haven't tried that. I would like to try it maybe before I leave tonight because I haven't had that.
Yeah. And for me, Kent, that one there, Still Lost in Cast Strength is my favorite Texas whiskey up to this point. I would have liked to have it done well in the tournament, but it went up against a powerhouse.
Well, sure.
What can I say? Yeah, go ahead.
So Trent started first and did Jack Daniels first, said on the cusp of a Jim Beam product, maybe Beam or Booker's, dark cherry and caramel. Still Austin, he said, like if there was a shipwreck and in the captain's quarters had algae, seaweed on the nose. But better than Kurt's musty rag.
At least we got that.
Lower proof than A. Not as tannic or oaky. But he picked Jack Daniels, but was very indecisive between the two on that one.
Really? Okay.
You went back and forth.
I'd have loved it if you'd have picked that.
I wish I went with that captain's quarters one. Yeah.
Wow.
Kurt did Jack Daniels first.
Yeah.
A little hot. Doesn't have to worry about trimming his nose hairs now. Rich and bold. All the good stuff on the palate.
Yep.
Still Austin, muted nose that doesn't compare to A, lighter notes of honey, caramel, subtle and balanced. Picked Jack Daniels, but said both were fantastic and very different.
Yeah, and again, Ken, I really like Still Austin, but it went up against Jack Daniels Barrel Proof. What are you going to say? All right, what you got next?
All right, round 4 was Bulleit Barrel Proof and Donahoe
back up there. Yep. Now, let me stop you just for a second, because what was amazing to me, there was one Booker's, right, in the whole tournament, and you guys picked like one of my favorites. I mean, legit.
Is that one of your favorites?
Oh, without doubt.
Okay.
And the funny part was we didn't even talk about what batch was going to be that night. We just said,
I figured you did.
Put a Booker's in. And Michelle had texted me, or you, I can't remember which, Rebecca, it was one of you two, texted and said, which Booker's do we put in? I'm like, do you have a Donahoe? Because I knew you really liked it. We all liked it.
Yeah.
We all liked that one. Yeah. Kurt went first. Spilled on himself.
Yes.
And that's where the SLB bibs came into play, because it was dripping down his chin a little bit.
Oh, I forgot about that round,
Thanks.
Well, Booker's Donahue, he said, hot and not profound, but not profound on the nose. Whatever it is, I like it a lot on the palate. A lot going on in there, a little hot, hard to determine it all. There's so much going on, but really good.
Yeah, but hot is...
It is hot.
It's Booker style.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then the Bulleit, honey and lemonade, weird on the nose. It's all right. A little bitter, some good notes, but still lemonade or sour. Picked the Booker's for sure. Earthy and savory, and that was an easy choice for you, which I could see that.
Yeah, I can too. Well, it's a good product for the price, but, going up against Donahoe's batch.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Trent went with Bulleit first. Sugary, confection sugar on the nose, quintessential flavors up front. Sweetness on the back end.
Interesting.
Booker's, Lucky Charms marshmallows on the nose. Cherry and sweetness. Burns like a high proof. Might be a Jim Beam product.
All right.
We're right on that one.
All right. Okay.
And pick the Booker's. And again, the comment was afterwards, when you guys got together, Trent would be shocked if at least one of them wasn't a Jim Beam product.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Cool.
All right. What you got next?
Round 5 was Rebel Cast Strength and Redwood Empire Pipe Dream.
Okay. That one didn't surprise me either for my choice. I'm just not a huge fan of Rebel Cast Strength.
Well, if it was my tenure,
it wasn't. It was the red label Cast Strength.
I'm not a huge fan.
I'm not either.
And it showed, as you said, hot on the nostrils, light caramel, but nothing overwhelming on the nose. First sip, not favored in tournament. Second sip, pretty decent, a little better, but probably the worst I've had so far in the tournament.
I'll say,
there you have it.
Looking at what's in this, that doesn't surprise me a whole lot.
It's not my favorite.
I'll say that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Redwood, Kurt said, darker on the nose, toffee and vanilla. That was pretty good, and everything good about cast strength bourbon. That's the reason they make cast strength bourbon. It's creamy and lovely. It was an obvious choice for you.
And probably because it was so much better than Rebel Cast Strength for me, too. But those are.
And that bottle of Redwood is pretty dark.
It is. It does have a lot of toffee in it for me, for sure.
It's very nice. Rebel first. Not much, but oaky and harsh on the nose. Tobacco and earthy like Jim Beam.
I get that.
But doesn't scream Jim Beam on the back end. No defining nose or palate. Redwood, very sweet on the nose, interesting on the palate, and picked Redwood.
Good. Okay. All right, cool. What we got?
Next one is round 6 was Penelope Barrel Strength and Fiddler Georgia Heartwood, which again is 2 good bottles, but Penelope got a bad draw there, I'd say, just because it's such a huge flavor in Georgia Heartwood.
Yeah.
Trent went first and did the Fiddler first. Coffee, spaghetti, and maple syrup, like what elves would drink on the nose.
Like Elf, Will Ferrell.
Also sawdust in a good way.
Okay.
Maybe a little young oak, but rich, dark sweetness on the palate. My jam.
It is young.
Give myself that. Penelope, really light. Honey, malty, light. Caramel and oak. Strong vanilla, little oak. Young, but bitter tannic oak. Pick the...
Yeah. That
all makes sense.
It does.
Kurt, you on Penelope went first. Nice and sweet. Sugary, creme brulee. And you said cream again, but you corrected yourself each time.
Well, that's because
give you credit for
she
that.
shakes her head behind the camera every time I do it.
Burnt sugars on the nose, a little bit astringent, youthful, and sour. Fiddler, coffee mocha nose, pretty good maple syrup up front, and then earthy and coffee bitter chocolate. Back end barrel char, really good, and 100% definitely pick Fiddler.
That's kind of a no-brainer for me too, Ken. That was the right choice.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
These next two are tough ones for you.
Round 7 was Maker's Mark cast strength against Larceny C922.
Yeah.
And this is another one I thought could go either way, though.
Yeah, this one I think could. I got some heartstrings on that Maker's Mark cast strength. I really like it, especially for the price point.
You know me, I got a bunch of Makers. I like Makers.
I'm always a sucker for a really good quality bourbon at a really good price, and that's what Maker's Mark cast strength is. I liked to have it gone to the next round? Absolutely. Am I surprised? Maybe not. Because Larceny's good too, but
it's for the money though. That's why I have 10 or 12 different Makers. Really good for the money.
Right.
But Kurt went first. Makers, really nice on the nose. All kinds of nice stuff. Light baking spices, caramel, and honey. Really nice sip. Nosing came through with added cinnamon, honey, more caramel, little spicy on the back end. Larceny, darker caramel, butterscotch on the nose. Like it a lot of butterscotch, dark fruit.
That is some butterscotch.
Bitter on the back end.
Yeah.
Said both good, but going with butterscotch.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's a really good matchup, I'll say.
It really is.
It was.
I think, honestly,
a couple weeders, that's cool matchup.
Maybe the best matchup in the tournament if I'm looking at this. And the next one would be my.
Trenton for the Makers said nice sour green apple on the nose, and then for the palate, really like that. Drinks 100 to 105, but spicy on back end. Would make a good afternoon sipper.
Okay.
Larceny caramel, but not sweet like candy on the nose. Bitter oak. Balanced sourness. Pick Larceny was lighter, but A was lighter, but B had oomph and viscosity like a cast strength should, and that's why you picked Larceny.
I remember one round having two pours that I had were kind of sour, and I didn't have any sour candy before that either, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
And Kurt said if he knows Trent's palate, he would pick different than what Kurt did, but he didn't.
Yeah, I remember saying that. I did.
I remember that. Yeah.
All right.
Round 8 was...
let's talk about it.
Elijah Craig, B520 and 1792 barrel proof. And this is one I kind of, in my mind, screwed up too, because I thought for sure you would pick the Elijah Craig, and I thought for sure you'd pick the 1792, which you did, but you kind of threw me on that one too.
Well, that just, to me, Ken, I don't know what happened on that round. I really don't. And I will stick to my guns. Elijah Craig, barrel proof B520 in specific, is one of my favorite bottles of all time. So I will say that I rarely have ever had the 1792 full proof. Yeah. So,
but not knocking the 1792 at all. I just assumed you'd pick the B20.
That'd give you $100 if I'd have saw this bracket ahead of time, and I did it.
Totally threw me.
That one for sure. That's the one. That is the bracket of the first round that shocks me of my pick. Really does.
But Trent went first, and he had the Elijah Craig first. A dusty on the nose, quintessential bourbon flavors, bitter and sour, nice caramel, marshmallow sweetness, viscous, bitter oak up front. 1792, fruity green or red apple, definitely sweet. Wow, really interesting, plum or dried fruit. And pick the 1792.
Okay.
Kurt had Elijah Craig first. Dark cherry and baking spices on the nose, very good. Raisin note, darker allspice possibly, and very good tiny bitterness. 1792, beautiful nose, toasted marshmallow and caramel. Whatever, and then for the palate, whatever that is very good. Boys did good picking it. Everything good you want. Caramel, toffee, vanilla, beautiful sweet oak, like an oak candy bar, creamy and viscous, best sip so far. And then when you got back together, you said that one was monster, otherworldly.
You might need to start reaching for that one every little bit more.
I guess so. I'm surprised. That's the surprise. Now, Go ahead.
I have to ask though, how did you guys seed these? Because if I'm looking at this in 1792, Barrel Proof is a 15th seed and Rebel Cask Strength's a 10 seed. Do you just not like follow the order of best to worst?
There was a point when we were talking about it where, they were, I would say 1 through 5 or 6 was easy.
Yeah.
And then it got more difficult as we went down the line. And honestly, when I was looking at Rebel Cask Strength, I wasn't thinking about that red label.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking of the 10
In my mind, I was thinking of the 10 year.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
To be honest with you, I was too after the tournament ended on the live show. And Kevin set me straight. No, it's the Cask Strength, the red label behind.
Yeah.
Then it all came to me.
It was that. So I didn't know that. And actually, until right now when you said
Is that right? Well, here's my biggest take from the first round is I would have never imagined Trenton and I, picking the exact same bottles to move forward in the first round.
Absolutely not.
I was shocked and stunned to see that. Really, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I messed up
so
in
was
my
Michelle
mind.
and I, because we were texting back and forth after each round, and I would update her so she could update the website, and she's like, "No way!" We were like, "What?"
I was saying that to myself every time.
Because their palates are different, and for that to be the same shocked everybody.
In my mind, I kind of if I know my own personal palate, I screwed up the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof somehow. Now,
you didn't screw it up.
I wouldn't say you screwed it up.
It went off. It went off the beaten path of what I would think that I would have picked. Right. Other than that, though, the makers just I would have loved that to go through, but besides all that, even I'm still surprised that we picked the exact same bottles. I'm shocked. I was shocked. All right, let's get into the second round real quick. Lead eight. What you got first?
Which is round 9, was Fiddler Georgia Heartwood and Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof.
Okay.
Trent did Fiddler first. Darker caramel, very nice rich nose, desserty like a glazed banana.
Okay. Nice.
Nice oak, little bitterness that's nice, dusty that I like. Jack Daniel's butterscotch, confection sugar, and honey on the nose, way lighter. Black cherry, really nice, pretty sweet. A little hotter than A. Pick Fiddler.
Lighter, interesting.
I can see that though, because Fiddler has a pretty
flavors, but hotter.
Okay.
To me.
Okay.
With those two, I think Jack Daniel's is definitely hotter than
Fiddler.
Yeah,
Fiddler boasts some pretty robust flavors.
Yeah, especially for being younger.
Yeah.
So I get that. Kurt had Fiddler first. Subdued on the nose, but nice. Light burnt sugar, custard, delightful sip. Developed nicely mid-sip. Oak shines bright with caramel and toffee. Jack Daniel's nose is profound with rich maple syrup and pancakes. Lovely, very rich, velvety, creamy. Nose transferred well, little hot, but super nice sip, which is 100% true. But you picked the Jack Daniel's.
Yeah. This is where you went rogue.
I know. And that could have went either way for me, to be honest with you.
I don't know if you remember, but that was the night Trent was real tired. And he was like, life of a bourbon sommelier is tired.
I do remember.
I'm tired right now.
Good Lord. All right.
Round 10.
Yep.
Booker's Donahoe and Larceny C922.
Okay.
Kurt went first. Booker's really nice, but really nice nut brownie on the nose. Nice caramel, toffee, brownie note. A lot of oak. Or not a lot of oak, I'm sorry. Primarily brownie and toffee on second sip. Larceny, caramel, honey. Lighter, but luscious on the nose. Little darker than the first one, but not on the nose. More baking spices and a tiny bit of bitterness in oak. Went with Booker's, but struggled. And said, would have loved to have a sip of both.
Mm-hmm.
Trenton.
I can see me going with Booker's there.
On Booker's, dark and earthy, oak and vanilla. Quintessential oak, barrel char, rich sweetness and molasses. Larceny, nice mix of butterscotch and oak. On nose, younger maybe, dusty note, oak front and center, unknown sweetness and grassiness to it. I don't know what the grassiness is, but that's what you were getting.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Picked Larceny because he was going with more sweetness, but guessed it, as Wild Turkey or 1792.
Yikes.
Well,
I think we both know that my Wild Turkey radar isn't too good, and honestly, my Barton radar is just non-existent. I don't drink enough. Like I have a bottle and bond at home that I like, but past that, I don't drink. We don't see it a ton around here, so it's just not my go-to.
I see that.
I like it.
That choice doesn't surprise me, especially with the Donovan.
I wish I pushed forward Booker's, but it is what it is, you know.
That's all right. Yeah.
Round 11 was Redwood Empire Pipe Dream in 1792 barrel proof. Trent went with Redwood first. Most concentrated sweet nose ever. Super sweet, little oak, a lot of caramel, vanilla, like a reduction. Sweet doesn't. He even patted himself on the back when he said reduction.
Yeah, figured it out. Figured out what it was called.
Goodness.
Sweet doesn't transfer. A little oaky sourness, blackberry, vanilla. 1792, very sweet, but more oak, brown sugar on the nose, a lot darker, barrel char, vanilla prominent, fruit maybe. And picked Redwood Empire, but guessed Kurt would pick the 1792. Which he did not.
Well.
Kurt had a Redwood first. So good. Sweet milk chocolate on the nose. Really good. Palate follows suit well. Honey, brown sugar. That's everything good in the world.
Is that the second time I said that about that? I think it's the second time I said it about the same bottle.
The bottle was what again?
The 1792 full proof, you said everything good about barrel.
Okay.
Barrel proof.
All right.
I think that one, though, you kept reiterating milk chocolate over and over again.
Yeah.
You kept saying chocolate.
Yeah.
But it's up against the 1792.
Okay. All right.
You said maple syrup, different than A. Hard to pinpoint nose, little ethanol, no maple but pancake syrup. Raisin note, which is the same stuff you said the first time, by the way.
Good job.
That might be what was different on the nose that I wasn't figuring out. Raisins steeped in syrup. Really good.
I don't think I said raisins the first time on 1792.
Not the raisins, but the...
Yeah.
Steeped in syrup. Do you like that, though?
Yeah, different.
Pick the Redwood. You guys are getting fancy on that one. Reduction and steeped.
I Googled what I had to Google to figure out what a reduction was. Because I knew it, but I couldn't figure out what the actual word was.
Right.
It's like 10 minutes of Google.
Sure.
It's embarrassing.
Yes, sir.
Old Elk. SLB pick. Old Forester 1920. Kurt went Old Forester first.
I'll take some of that too. Come on.
Very nice nose, luscious vanilla, creme brulee, light caramel, beautiful vanilla custard. Mimics the nose with vanilla, brown sugar, custard note. Feels like an old friend or something I've had quite a bit and like it a lot.
The Old Elk pick?
No, the Old Forester 1920.
Ooh, like an old friend.
Yeah,
that's the one. Like an old friend.
How about that, Trent?
The Old Elk SLB pick.
I said
quite a bit different, but really good. Deep walnut or pecan note and fudgy. Really nice nose. So soft on palate. So nice. So smooth. Creamy, viscous mouthfeel. Second sip, hint of pancake syrup. And agreed with Rebecca on the butter note. Remember
that's right, yeah. I said pancakes and syrup, honey. We got to add some butter to it.
Please do not.
The Old Elk said both was spectacular, but Old Elk.
I do remember that.
Old Elk blows me away.
Yeah, it did.
Trent had Old Elk first. Nice toasted marshmallow and cereal-ish on the nose. Like
I
Lucky
just drank
Charms.
I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice candied pecan. No Lucky Charms on palate. Sweet pecan, maybe too sweet. Old Forester 1920. Very butterscotch-y. Very butterscotchy. I gotta say it in Trenton's terms. Vanilla-y. Bordering quintessential. Really nice, but a little earthy up front. Very sweet with light oak, and picked the 1920. Kurt just said he picked the best in show.
Interesting.
The Old Elk.
Well, I have to pause this really quick because the camera's about to cut out because we've been going for about 29 minutes. So I got to cut it, and we got to Final four.
We got rolling?
Yeah.
Final four. All right, Kent. This is where we get to the good stuff. In the final four on the live show, what are we doing first?
Well, you had Old Elk and Booker's first.
Okay.
Old Elk, you said maple syrup and great.
Mm-hmm.
Booker's hotter than A. spices and almost baking spices and almost chewy. Which I remember him going, "What is chewy?"
Yeah, I agree with that. What the heck does that mean?
It's like on the point of savory, almost like like a good meal. Chewy.
I don't get it still, but yeah. Okay,
I don't get it either. So.
But picked Old Elk. Trent's first was Old Forester 1920 in Larceny. The Old Forester 1920, you said incredible nose and palate was very sweet and good. Larceny, maple, little bit of oak. But then you said, surprised I put this through earlier.
The Larceny?
Really? That's the one.
You said that, huh?
I did say that, yeah.
Wow. I'm a bit surprised it's in your final four as well, the Larceny.
Yeah.
But.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Round two of the final four, Kurt had Redwood Empire and Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof. The Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof, hot fire animal, but good maple and spices. The Redwood Empire, milk chocolate, like a cereal bar, nougat. Liked it a lot.
Sure.
Trenton had Redwood Empire and Fiddler. Redwood Empire.
So that's the only one we had the same in the final four was Redwood Empire.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Okay.
But at this point in the competition,
I can smell
he
that
got
scotch.
rotten pumpkin on the porch.
That's the rotten pumpkin one? This is the Redwood?
Yeah, I said chewy, and you're looking at me like, what's that mean? And you said rotten pumpkin.
Well, no, that was just the smell.
I mean, for real.
That was just the palate. That was just the nose.
Come on now.
You didn't say much about the palate on that, other than I'm not getting the rotten pumpkin.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in the live show, but
yeah.
And then the Fiddler, that was your Tostitos corn chips, and it was like a whole appetizer thing. You explained.
I must have been hungry or something.
Yeah, it was
Everything
like a
was
whole
food.
appetizer tray.
I had pizza beforehand.
It was basically how you described it.
Okay.
Made me hungry. Just listen to your.
I'm hungry right now.
But he picked Fiddler.
Yeah.
And that doesn't surprise me there.
No,
yeah.
not at all.
That one makes sense to me.
Not at all.
I love
so
a good
then I
underdog
picked Jack
story.
Daniels, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that was a hard one because that could have went either way. Jack Daniels is a beast. There's no question about it. But I really did like the Redwood Empire and what it was delivering during the tournament. So
the Redwood and the Fiddler is like a really nice, I said underdog story, but they're both like, ASW is pretty small. Mm-hmm. Redwood Empire is relatively small out of California.
Yeah, good showing.
The cask strength stuff was new this year.
Yeah.
Or last year. So that was just kind of cool to see that bracket kind of end up the way it was, especially up against these big dogs like 1792 and Jack Daniels. So
absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that.
So the final couple pairings, there really wasn't a lot said because there was a lot going on and a lot
almost got blown away by a tornado.
I know, we're watching lights going. It's
trying to get done before the power went out.
I know.
So there wasn't a whole lot of talk about it. But you had Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Kurt and Old Elk.
Right.
And Jack Daniel's hot but good is basically all of this said. Old Elk, milk chocolate, nuttiness, soften the palate.
Yeah. Yeah, and Kent, for me, man, if I can say right now, I picked Old Elk, our pick, which I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That it is, but I really fell in love with. There's a really nice sugary nutty note in there, and it's fudgy. It's like it's just really it's just one that I kind of picked up on after the Elite Eight. Mm-hmm. Not that it was that, the note, it was so good that I remember.
You're trying to follow it through.
I wasn't trying, but when I picked it up, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that was really good, and it is. It was just super good for me.
I don't know if you remember, I mean, I was lucky enough to go with these guys and pick that bottle.
Yeah.
And when we were there, they had put down 2 or 3, I think it was 2 wheated bourbons, and all of us, us and Michelle were like, oh man, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then they pulled that other one out.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there's the one.
That's the ticket.
Yeah. There's the one.
Yeah, and that's what it was right there.
For real.
And that's what I saw in it. That's what I sensed in it. And that's why I picked it. Jack Daniels is a great bottle. It's barrel proof. It's a beast. It packs a lot of power. But
not a bad price either.
No. And I love the subtleties in this one, though, and the sweetness that was there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that bottle.
Yeah.
Too. Trent had Fiddler and Old Forester 1920, which, in my opinion, could have went either way too.
That's a heck of a matchup. Not that yours wasn't, but this was like, man.
Those two are a couple of my favorites for sure. And again, not a lot was said. Both of them were sweet. Both of them were, it basically is similar descriptions, but you picked Fiddler. Descriptions were very similar, which I can understand.
Yeah.
They both have the same characteristics, but I think the Fiddler has a little bit bolder flavors of those. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's what you thought, Trent, but...
Yeah, for me too, it's surprising. You said this, I think, during the live show, but neither one of us picked up on the Old Forester banana note of Old Forester 1920.
Not one time,
the entire tournament.
The whole tournament.
I have to say, though, when I talked to Rebecca about this, past all that, I personally usually don't get the banana on the 1920.
Okay.
On the 100, there's some other ones, but I normally don't too much on that one. But I know you do quite a bit, and I know it's a consensus from a lot of people. So maybe I should get it on there. I just don't. But yeah, I am surprised it wasn't mentioned even once.
Well, after that, it made me question my knowledge, which it is very little. But I need to go back and when I get home and really try and get it. Because like you said, you might not get it from the 1920 because there's quite a bit of proof in that compared to 1910 and like all those other ones, low proof, a lot of flavor, that kind of thing.
It's a personal thing anyways. There's how many times you tell me, Trent, there's no right and wrong?
All the time, like five times before we started this video.
There you go.
But it's cool to see Fiddler go through. I think they're doing great stuff, and to go head to head again. Oh yeah, this is actually a total wine pick. We didn't pick this one. We do have a pick, but for this tournament we used the total wine pick. But for something this young and for a newer distillery to go kind of head to head to Old Forester, Brown Forman, that's a heck of a feat, especially to take away first for me.
Yeah.
But that was just kind of cool to see.
Last year, 1920 went through a lot of big bottles.
Yeah, it did. It hammered down some big ones.
It doesn't surprise me that it made it all the way to the end with one of you.
Yeah.
Again, because it's just rock solid.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Kent. And the one that took it down for me was that one right there. That's the one that won for me. So it's a personal taste thing. That's all. If it didn't run up against this one, I would not be surprised at all. It would have been in the final four.
Yeah. But with all that being said, we have some winners to discuss.
We got to move on here real quick. I'm sorry this is taking so long.
This is actually the first time we've heard all the consensus of what we said. We haven't gone back and I don't know if you have.
Not yet.
There was only 2 or 3 comments that were fine.
Not too bad.
You guys did solid for 99% of it. Was also.
Yeah, true that. Can we get these?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the brackets are live. I'll put the links to the brackets in the description so you guys can look and see who the winners are. But again, there was a put your first and last name, and then if there's a tiebreaker situation, which in this case there was quite a few.
Wait till you hear some of this, Ken.
We asked you to put your final proof guess, and the closest without going over would win if there was a 1-to-1 tiebreaker situation. For your bracket, there were 2 folks that had 14 out of 15 picks guessed correctly.
Ooh, isn't that insane?
Wow.
Yeah, 14 out of 15. That's pretty impressive.
That's insane. Good job.
So we had Makers Chuck, John Hicks, and Chris Clement. Makers Chuck guessed 240. The total proof of your final 2 bottles were 127.9.
Okay.
And I thought it was kind of cool because maybe not a lot of folks knew the Old Elk proof or the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof because those vary just a little bit.
Sorry, Trent. What was the total of this?
127.9.
No, it'd be 227.
No, sorry. 243.7.
Okay,
sorry.
You're right.
I'm looking at the Jack Daniel's.
Thank you.
243.
I wasn't paying attention to that either.
243.7.
Okay.
We had John Hicks would have gotten first, but we're going the Price is Right style, the closest without going over. John went over 1.3 proof. So Maker's Chuck guessed 240 proof. John Hicks with 245 proof, and Chris Kleeman, I think it was 237 proof. So Maker's Chuck first place, 240 proof, then John Hicks at 245 proof, and third place is Chris Kleeman at I think, a 237 proof. I forgot to write that down.
That's insane. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. For those of you who did win, please email us with the proof of your driver's license so we can verify your name, address, and your age and everything. And then for the folks that did win and don't end up getting, they don't end up emailing me, we'll either give them away for our next live show or we'll give them to the next person in line for the wrap or for the standings of the bracket.
Okay.
For my bracket, there were 3 people tied for first place with 15 out of 15 picks correct.
Oh my god!
So they didn't miss a single one.
How is that possible?
That was insane. I thought out of all of them, mine would have been a little bit different just because I'm an oddball and my notes are weird and all that stuff. But we had
Let's get toilet seats in there.
Maybe, I guess. That's cool. At least I'm not the only one, right?
Yeah, garden hose.
My total proof was 231.4. And then we had Caesar Cruz in first place at 230.4, so he was 1 proof off.
Good for you, buddy.
And then we have Nick Scholes was at 230 proof, so he was 0.4 proof off of Caesar.
Wow.
He gets 230 proof, so he was 1.4 proof off. And then we had Chad McKee at 225 proof in third place.
Yeah.
So for Kurt, we have Makers who gets the Wild Turkey 12-year. We have John who gets the Blantons, and we have Chris who gets the Weller. For me, we have Caesar who gets the Blantons Red. And then we have Nick who gets the Blantons, and we have Chad who gets the Weller. So if we called your name, please email us, slbdrinks@gmail.com. We'll make sure that we can get you these prizes. Congrats to everybody who won.
Sorry, Chad, you get a partial bottle of Weller.
Trent forgot to bring his over.
Thinking that.
Trent just forgot to bring the one over he has.
I have another one. Yeah, you won't get the one that's been drinking out of. Yeah. This is actually what we were sipping the whole
We'll
video.
fill it up the rest of the way with Jim Beam or something. It'll be fine.
It'll be a heck of a blend there.
Pretty cool though, guys. I mean, to everybody that was involved, not only in the brackets and in the challenge in that respect, but to everybody that watched all the videos and followed suit, to have that enormous amount of people that were watching us on the live show, that was pretty incredible. I knew there was a lot of people planning parties and
Hope
everything.
We didn't disappoint.
Yeah, and you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, this is all for fun.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about, and everybody's palate's different, and we do the show from start to finish again.
Yep.
We might even have a completely different Final Four.
I'd be shocked if we didn't.
Yeah, it's just that's how it goes. So I know we had a good time. I had a good time. Tune in next year. We got some other ideas going already.
Ken will be involved. So if he wants to join, that is.
Well, of course.
In March,
I'm showing up to taste.
Yeah, he'll be all right, Ken? So we got a lot planned. So, anyways, sorry this took so long, but hey, we wanted you to get the full effect of Ken's notes and all the silly things we said, and it just was fun, though. Yeah. It was a good time.
Thanks to Kent again, Mom, Michelle for all their work on making sure everything was put together correctly, and then all of our patrons for helping us decide what brackets and stuff we did.
Because we didn't do anything other than come down here and taste it.
We did nothing. So credit to everybody else that's not us, because we didn't do anything. No. And thanks for everybody again for tuning in and participating this year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, that's all we got for you today. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. See you next time, right down here with Trent and I in a good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.